All right, Chinch, we're on, brother.
We are on, and it's not just the two of us. College World Series time right now, right? Who better than to have arguably the greatest college baseball player of all time, and one of your boys, Sean. Who we got?
Yeah, Todd Walker. What's up, Walk? How you doing, brother?
What's up, Case? How are you guys?
You're out here. You're out there in Omaha right now, aren't you?
Yeah, I've been here about 4 or 5 days already, and we got another week to go, man. So it's adult spring break out here, Case.
I know. I'm sure it is, brother. I'm sure. Chinch, you want to roll the open, or you just want to get it going?
Let's roll it. I like when people see videos of you when you're a child. Here we go.
Okay, watch this, Walk. It's great hair. Wait till you see the hair. Slow. That's our open, Walk. Did you see it? Could you see it? Oh, you could see it. Walk. Can you? Do we have your audio? Can we hear you? No. Go to. What about your on the settings in the corner? Go to that settings button. Put your glasses on. Go.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, baby. We're back in business, baby.
Right.
Getting the band back together. Dude, yeah. every week, Chinch and I have something like that happen. So it's perfect. It's great it happened to you.
We've been doing this virtual stuff all year. I know what you're talking about, man. It's always crazy.
I know. Now, Walk. So I was just breaking it down, man, for everybody that that maybe doesn't know Todd Walker. One of the arguably, I think. And, not what I think, what everyone thinks, arguably the greatest college baseball player ever. And, in Omaha now, as we're watching, it's really cool, to see that atmosphere and all that. You go back to Walk was, you dominated as a freshman, 2-time All-American, collegiate player of the year in 1994. Are you running this shit? There you go.
Yeah,
here we go. Here it is. Freshman year, he hits over 400. You're bad. 3 seasons, SEC all-time leader in hits, RBIs, runs, and total bases. How we doing? 3-time first-team All-SEC. That's a really good league, better than the Spiders are in. Twice named first-team All-American. Sweet swinging. Look at that. I love the face. Baseball College Hall of Fame. Hey, that's legit. 2009. Love that picture right there, too. And Walk's always looking good with the Oakleys, too, which is, one of those guys. He's one of those guys. He's one of the first to wear the Oakleys, like, hey, Todd Walker looks good with the Oakleys. So it's just something about him, you know what I mean? But Walk also too. Hey, listen, let's not talk college. Walk and I played together with the Reds a little bit in 2002 and 2003, right, Walk? 2002, 2003.
Yeah, I can't remember, Case. Now it's been 20 years, but I think that's about right. Yeah, year and a half.
It was something like year and a half. And this guy, 290 career hit, 289 career hitter. Over 100 home runs, 545 RBI, all that stuff. Played a great second base, played 10 years in the show. And one of the things we were talking about, Walk, was, dude, you're one of the best pure hitters. We were kind of the same kind of guy. We didn't like to strike out. We were going to grind you out. You faced Todd Walker at the end of the game like you're in for a dogfight. That's kind of how I felt too. And I loved playing with you because I loved picking your brain. You being that left-handed hitter, you were a line-to-line guy. You were a tough guy to pitch to. You couldn't pitch you one way because you hit the breaking stuff so well. But nowadays, when you watch Big League Baseball, Walk, and I go back to your numbers, you struck out 571 times in 10 years, and you walked 421 times. So there's like 150 more strikeouts than walks, which is unbelievable nowadays. When you watch the game, in the big leagues now, and you see the punch-out stuff, like what's your take on all that?
Well, I think first of all, Case, you talked about not striking out. That's number one. In order to hit 300, you were a 300 hitter, right? And I think my average was right up under that. We took a lot of pride in an average versus the damage numbers like the home runs and the triples. I always thought if I could hit for an average, that the home runs would come, not the other way around, like trying to hit home runs. And so the way to do that is not to strike out. And also what you said, use the whole field. You were real good at going the other way as a left-handed hitter, even against left-handed pitchers. We'd let the ball travel in on the off speed, react. I was a guy that sat off speed and reacted to the fastball. Well, a lot of people say it the other way around. I was like, I'm sitting on the curveball, and if they throw the fastball, I feel like I got a quick enough swing to react. But if you're sitting fastball and reacting off speed, you're going to be out in front of a lot, and you might hit some homers, but your average is going to suffer, and you're going to strike out. So what you said and what we talked about before we got on this thing was we took it personally. And if you watch the Mississippi State Bulldogs, we're here at the College World Series right now. Jake Gautreaux, the hitting coach, makes them beat their chest with 2 strikes. They look in the dugout, and they beat their chest. And it's kind of an acknowledgement that I'm in a fight. They call it the 2-strike fight, and they're going to get after it. But it's one of the rare things that I've seen nowadays where they put an emphasis on not striking out. And it would drive me nuts as a coach if you got a guy on second, nobody out, and you don't move him over, you strike out. Or you got a guy on third with less than 2 outs, and you can't put the ball in play to get a run in. That's the kind of scenarios where strikeouts matter, And I just think you and I, we took it personally. We're both on the right side of the infield, so we were talking a lot, even probably, when we're out there on defense or whatever. But it was a lot of fun playing with you. And that Cincinnati Reds team that we had was a lot of fun. We all went out together. We all ate lunch together. That was rare in the big leagues too.
Dude, that's a great point when you talk about our Reds teams. The Dunner and Griff and Lark and Booney and all the great guys that we had, LaRue on those teams. Can you talk about that a little bit? Because you played on a lot of teams. You played with the Twins, you played with the Cubs, you played with the Rockies. You played with the Reds, you played with the Red Sox. Can you talk about that team and like the difference of that team and maybe some other teams you played on?
Well, I had started with Minnesota, like you said. We were young back then. We had a low payroll, so we weren't going to compete in the American League. We had Tom Kelly as a manager, who was a veteran guy, but we had a bunch of young kids, so we weren't going to survive under that scenario. Eventually, we all got spread out and moved around, and I went to Colorado under Buddy Bell, who I loved. I learned a lot about the game through Buddy Bell, and he was relaxed, and we had a great time in Colorado with Todd Helton and Larry Walker and Juan Pierre and Todd Hollingsworth and all those great guys. But when I got traded from there, let's see, where did I go? I went to Cincinnati. From there, my first roommate was Aaron Boone, and it's still kind of funny. I think you're the same way. Like, if you'd have told me growing up that I would have a buddy that's now the manager of the New York Yankees, I'd be like, you got to be crazy. But that's kind of a cool thing for me, is my first roommate in Cincinnati was Aaron Boone. We went to breakfast together a lot, and we his dad, of course, was our manager, Bob Boone, who I also loved. And Danny Graves, who's here with me now in Omaha, he was on that team with us. All those guys you mentioned with Cincinnati, we were just a tight group. If we had any pitching at all, we would have rolled, man. But we just didn't have. We had some good dudes, but we didn't have like the A+ guys, like the Roger Clemens and the Mike Mussinas of the day, where the Yankees had them. So we could hit and we could play defense, but we just we didn't have the pitching to get it done. But it was still a fun group, man. It was probably the funnest teams that I've been on in my years. Boston became a little more, squeezed. Now all of a sudden it's for real. I love Cincinnati because it's a baseball town, but it wasn't like Boston or New York where they just grind you out if you kicked the ball in the field or if you struck out in a big situation. You know what I mean? You spent more time there than I did, but it was just a fun deal to be involved in a situation where they love baseball, but they weren't going to just kill you if you made a mistake. And so that's what I loved about Cincinnati. It was a great time. We've all gone on to do some good stuff. You work for MLB Network. Danny Graves and I are calling games at the college level. I called a lot of Red Sox games for the past few years. We got a New York Yankees manager, and of course, like you said, Adam Dunn is baling hay, making millions of dollars now. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I think Dunner's. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's like selling soil or like in some hail, some bays of hail, and I think he's making more money than when he was when he was hitting 40 homers a year and driving in hundreds. Leave it to Dunner to find just Dunner's the guy that takes a shot. He's like, oh, is that going to cost me a few mil? Boom, let's do that. See if we start our own company. Start,
Must be nice.
Yeah, it's so funny, dude. I want to go back. Go ahead, Chich.
Were you playing second when Boone for the Red Sox when Boone hit the homer? The walk-off?
Yes, yeah, I was on the field. Thanks for that reminder. Yeah. That's the at-bats I talk about against Mariano Rivera. You know, I know, Casey, you faced him a few times too, right? He would bury that cutter up in on your hands. And I got him in like game 2 or 3 back at Fenway where I just start my swing before he let the ball go because you know where the pitch is going to be and it's going to be accurate, you know. And I got the barrel out on it, hit it to right field, got a triple out of it. So we fast forward to that game 7. Kevin Millar is standing at second base in the extra inning game, and I'm up at the plate. And I said, I'm going to outsmart him. I'm going to back off from the plate, you know. So I'm going to back off, and he can't get that cutter in on my hands. Well, he throws a backdoor cutter on the outside that looked like it was in the third base dugout.
Oh, my
and it was
God.
strike one. It was strike one, so I'm like, all right, I got to scoop back in now. And I tried the same swing. I'm telling you that I got him for a triple by starting it before he even released the ball, and I thought I did it, but it got in on me just enough. I hit a ball to Soriano, and that was the third out in the top of the 10th or whatever it was. And then eventually we bring Wakefield in, and the first pitch, Aaron Boone pinch hits, right? Because he didn't start because he wasn't hitting well. He wasn't playing well. And so they started Enrique Wilson or whoever it was. And Aaron gets in the game, and he gets a floater in there that didn't really knuckle, and it hit it out. Yeah, it was crazy.
I remember Booney, I asked him about that. I said, dude, what were you thinking when you were up there? He's like, well, I was scuffling so bad. I think looking back, if he's raking at that time, he pops that pitch up. But you know when you're scuffling and you're like, I got no idea what I'm doing up here, you know. And I remember asking Booney that. I said, what were you thinking? He goes, I was first pitch hacking. He's like, I really was at the time scuffling. He's like, and I saw it was just up, and I just took a rip, and it didn't knuckle, and the rest is history. You know, what was that like, Walk? Because I mean, I know I was talking to you right before that series, and maybe even during the series, and you were telling me how electric it was there in Boston, and you know, being the team that would maybe break the curse. What was that like when that ball went out, like that the end of that game?
You know, Case, the offense for us that year, if you remember, Billy Miller won the batting title that year. He was hitting 8th for us. Jason Varitek was hitting 9th. Trot Nixon was hitting 7th. You know, Johnny Damon up at the top, then me, and then Nomar Garciaparra, and then Manny Ramirez. Kevin Millar was hitting 5th, I think. Man, that lineup was just, I mean, we scored a lot of runs. That was 2003. So we thought we had a real chance. And now you go up against the New York Yankees in the American League Championship Series. We felt like whoever won that series was going to win it all. Because remember, the Florida Marlins were sitting on the other side waiting on the winner of our series, and we went all the way to Game 7. And when we lost, when Aaron Boone hit the home run, you asked me what it was like. It broke my heart for the fans because you knew how important it was for them at the time. You know, remember, Boston hadn't won it since 1918 or whatever it was. And so we were trying to get it done for them. And I just remember in the front seat with Pedro Martinez on the bus going back to the hotel. Back to the airport to head back to Boston. And we both just kept talking about how sad we were for the city of Boston. And then when we got back to Boston on the bus going back to Fenway Park, there's trash cans thrown everywhere. It looked like a riot had broke out all the way on our path from the airport back to Fenway. And that made me feel worse because now you're like, man, now it really sets home as to what we almost had happen that we didn't get done. And then, of course, as the story goes, the Yankees go in with their rotation kind of messed up because we had gone 7 games and the Marlins beat them that year, 2003. So that made me feel a little better because if the Yankees had won, we'd have been like, man, I was right. Whoever won this series was going to win it all. But the Marlins won it that year. And so, it was a great experience for me, Case, but at the same time, it was pretty heartbreaking, because you felt like you let a lot of people down.
I'll tell you what, I go back to that playoffs, bro, because it's funny for me, I was with the Reds and I was home and I was watching 2 of my best buddies, you and Booney, here fighting it out. And I just remember, bro, I would stay up late for those West Coast games when it was like the Todd Walker show. I swear to God, in Oakland, what was it when I go back? You hit 313 in the division series, 370 in the championship series. Yeah, you hit 5 bombs during that time with 6 ribbies. And you weren't known as a big power hitter, but you had big power. You did have the power in there, and you were crushing balls. Can you take us back to that? That was freaking awesome. I remember I'm sitting in my chair, whatever, Jupiter, Florida, bam, I come off like, boom, and then you homer, and then next thing you know, then Boone homer, so I had to cheer for him too. I'm running. So you gave me a lot of great memories of that 2003 run, bro.
Well, you're right. I wasn't a huge home run guy because I wasn't going for it. I think nowadays they go for it, so then your average is going to suffer and you're going to have more strikeouts. That's just the way it is. I was a guy, like you said earlier, you and I, we weren't going for home runs. I would have been totally happy with hitting singles all day long. And I remember Chuck Knobloch telling me that. He goes, I don't care if I ever hit a home run in my life. I'm going to put the ball in play, and I'm going to spray it around the field, and I'm going to consistently get on base. And that's what he did, and that was his identity. And back then, that's what they taught us, right? They taught the two-strike approach where you spread out, choke up, get your hands closer to the barrel of the bat, expand the zone. Don't let that umpire call you on strike three, and get after it. You're in swing mode. You're getting after it. So, and I also remember Doug McCavitt saying, look, when we got to the postseason, man, I reached a level that I didn't feel like I could get to for 162 games in the regular season. You get this inject of energy that you just you can't tap into. And he was right, man. When I got in the playoffs and we were in Oakland for the division series in 2003, man, I'm looking around. Millions of people are watching this game, and I'm freaked out. I'm like, this is crazy. But it'll cut your legs out from under you, or it'll give you some energy and some focus that you've never had before, and that's exactly what happened. It takes a lot of energy, and it takes a lot out of you. But, Case, man, I reached a level, I was locked in. When they talk about educated guessing on pitching and what pitches are coming, I could convince myself every pitch that was coming, and I could get the quick swing going, and I hit my opening game in Oakland. I was 4 for 5. I hit 2 home runs in that first game. And starting with my first at bat, I was so nervous I couldn't even see straight. And I'm the 3-hole hitter because remember Oakland had the guy Chad Bradford. We talked about the outwinders,
Yes.
He came down low from the right side. And all year long, Nomar Garciaparra and Manny Ramirez hit back to back. Well, they split them up for that reason because Chad Bradford was in the pen for Oakland. So I was hitting 3 holes. So now it was Johnny Damon, Nomar, me, then Manny Ramirez. So Johnny and Nomar make out in the first inning. They're out. So it's 2 outs, nobody on. We're facing Tim Hudson, and I can't. Case, my knee-jerk reaction is like, let's just swing the bat. Let me get out of here. Like you said, like if I was struggling, that's probably what I would have done. But I was hitting well going into that game, and so I was thinking, I'm gonna think about this at bat for a minute, and I'm just gonna take until I can get a little confidence here. And it goes ball 1, it goes ball 2. I danced around the zone a little bit, 2 and 1, 3. I get to 3 and 1 with nobody on, and I'm like, here comes a fastball, and I'm just gonna close my eyes. I'm gonna swing as hard as I can, and in case, and I did it, and I crushed it to right field for a home run. So right out of the gates, as nervous as I could have been, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I'm like, if I screw this up, I'm gonna have to move to Siberia. I'm not going to be allowed to live in the United States anymore because you're playing for the Boston Red Sox. You know who you're playing for.
Oh, yeah.
And so I go 4 for 5 on that opening night and cruised from there, man. But then when we win against Oakland, we get to face the New York Yankees. And now that thing I just told you escalated 100 times. Now all of a sudden you're like, this is the greatest and the worst moment of my life. Because we got to face the Yankees, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be historic. But at the same time, we got to face the Yankees, and people are going to be watching every move you make, and that's not a good thing.
No, dude, I and you were in it, Walker. You were in it when it was the Red Sox Yankees, like 03, 04, 05, 02. That rivalry was. It might have been at one of its peaks. So I know that energy and what you felt there, must have been absolutely escalated.
Well,
I think, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, and we didn't get it done in 03, but as the story goes, they win it in 04. And if I remember, that was the year they were down 03, right, to the Yankees. And they come back and win 4 straight to win that against the Yankees and go on and win the World Series against the Cardinals, I think, 2004.
Yeah, Cardinals. They swept the Cardinals.
Yeah, Doug McCavitt was playing first base for them, and they got Folk over from Oakland. And so, so they got it done the very next year. I was the only guy that wasn't on that team from 2003. So I went and bought myself like a fake ring because I feel like I earned it a little bit and put them in a position where the next year they felt like they could get it done, right? You've been there before now. let's go get it done. And so I was like you. I was watching from a distance in 2004 and mixed emotions, because I could have been a part of that. But after 2003, and I hit 5 home runs in the postseason, I became a free agent for the first time. And so I'm like 6 years in, and I'm thinking I'm about to go kill it in free agent market, And there's a long story that goes along with it. But Theo Epstein offered me a contract like Billy Miller's. So it was like $5 million for 2 years or whatever, and it was great. Don't get me wrong, but I thought I'd make a lot more in the free agent market, and so I turned that down. And I remember Theo Epstein going, "Oh, and by the way, if we win the World Series in 2004, I'll give you $1 million bonus." And I'm like, "They haven't won it since 1918. What kind of deal is that?" I said, "I don't even have to worry about that, So I turned that down, went out in the free agent market, got 2 years, $5 million from Chicago, signed there. And then Boston wins it all, and so I lost out on a ring. I lost out on $1 million bonus.
Oh my gosh.
And all the prestige that goes along with it. So I guess that was my fault.
Does that still make your stomach turn when you think about it? Like, I obviously, you went to Chicago and enjoyed it there too, but sometimes you're like, man, I want that 2004 ring.
Oh my goodness, that would have been unbelievable, man. I mean, if I could tell the future, then absolutely. The money wouldn't have even been an issue. But I was caught in a situation where I was a free agent is what every player looks for, because that's the situation where now you're going to be able to set yourself up for life. And so, but see, I had to negotiate with Boston before I could go out and find that out. Once the rules were, once a certain date goes by, I think it's January 1st or whatever. Now I couldn't negotiate with Boston anymore, but I could go out and see what's out there. So I couldn't go back to Boston after I found out that I was getting the same deal from like 3 other clubs, And so at that point, I had to go sign somewhere else. Yeah,
dude, I got to go back to your Mariano Rivera story really quick, because it's so funny.
How did you face him? Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, bro. It's so great that you said that about your approach against Mariano Rivera, because I was like, oh my God, that was my approach. And I remember I had the day off one time. We're at Yankee Stadium with Detroit. I got the day off. I'm like, oh right, Pettit's throwing or whatever. Leland gives me the day off, and so it's like the 9th inning. I'm just like, I'm sitting back like, God, what a nice day.
In the American League, as left-handed hitters, you and me, if you didn't start, you don't play till the 9th against some closer. Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh, cool. I got the day off. I hear Leland, he just annihilates 4 heaters. Like, that's where every turn's like, Cage. He's like, you're going to lead off against Mo. I'm like, are you serious? I thought I had the day off. This isn't a day off. This is a freaking offer right here. You know what I mean? So I'm like you, Walker. I'm like, all right, how am I going to ambush Mariano Rivera? Like, I got this. So I get loose, couple shoulder rolls. I'm not even loose. Like, he just, boom, I was up, right? Get my batting gloves. I'm like, okay, I'm going to step in the bucket and I'm going to just cheat on the cutter. Because I know it's coming, right? I know it's coming. So sure enough, I'm like, first pitch, here it comes. I'm in there, and I'm doing the same thing you're doing. I'm kind of like, he's about to throw the ball, and I'm inching backwards. I'm like, I think it was the first time in my life I started walking backwards. So he's about to throw, and I'm tiptoeing backwards. Like, oh. So he throws me the cutter walk, and you know this pitch, bro. At 55 feet, it looks like a 4-seam fastball. So your mind's like, is this the first 4-seam fastball he's ever thrown anybody? Like. So I'm like, oh yeah, baby, it's the first time anyone's got a 4-seam off Mariano Rivera. So I'm like, but I'm already cheating for the cutter, and there it starts to happen, bro. It's like a nightmare right in front of my eyes. I start cheating, and it starts cutting, and it's like a Scud missile coming at me like freaking Iraq in '92. I'm like, oh my God. And it's coming at me. Walk. It's gonna hit me right in the freaking heart. It's seriously. And like, thank God I was so coordinated, because I'm like, this is either gonna hit me in the heart and I'm gonna have a heart attack, or I'm gonna freaking hit it. So here it comes. It's coming at me, and I'm like, I'm stepped in the bucket. I'm like, boom, and I'm like so far out here. Boom, dude, bro. I hit the furthest ball I've ever hit in my life over the Yankee dugout. It almost went out of Yankee Stadium. Dude, it was so far. It must have been 540 feet foul. I mean, directly foul. Like.
Well, you got the barrel out on it at least.
Dude, I dropped the head on it, trying to save my life, Walk. I just trying to save my life. It went to the literally. It was a row from going out of Yankee Stadium. I was like, wow. And you know, bro, when you see guys do that, you're like, that's bad hitting. Like that's bad hitting.
I was just gonna say I never pulled the ball foul. I always hit the other way foul, but I never. Yeah, when you see a guy pull a fastball foul, they're off. They're off. Yeah, and that's what Mariano made you do. It made you do weird things.
Yeah, and then so it was like you said when you got off the plate. It's so funny, bro. You got off the plate, and then he drops that backdoor cutter. So he just saw me hit a ball like probably no humans ever hit. It was ridiculous. Next pitch, I didn't even know he had this pitch, bro. He throws me, and I'm cheating again because I know it's a cutter. He throws me a two-seamer. I didn't even know he had one. Break my bat off the end. Just a 15 hop right to him. Can of dog crap, bam, I'm out. I'm like, what freaking? I was like, I wanted to kill Leland for putting me into that game. It was ridiculous.
I hated that. That's what I'm saying. As a left-handed hitter in the American League, if you didn't start, you didn't play. And I was young with Minnesota in the American League. And when I didn't start, I'm sitting there. I've never pinch hit in my life, Case. I played at LSU. I played in the minor leagues. You get every at-bat, right? So now all of a sudden I'm pinch hitting. I have no idea how to do that. I'm sitting for 8 innings. And no tempo, no timing, no anything. And you're facing closers. And, oh, by the way, Tom Kelly gave you the tape. So you have a tape. So I'm like, I'm 0-1 on every closer going 98. And I'm like, how am I going to get this done? Now I'm facing fork balls. And that's where I came up with the concept in baseball. If somebody wants to make you, if somebody wants you to fail, they can make you fail, man. Because I don't think I ever got a hit off a closer. Ever back then.
That's so good. 0-1 off every nasty closer.
Oh,
so good.
God. Then they go to work. Then they're throwing fork balls. You know, back then everybody had a fork ball. Eric Gagne, Percival had this tight slider, whatever it was. I still don't know what it was, but it wasn't hittable,
Dude, let's go back to that. You talked about obviously your college days and being one of the best hitters in college and playing at LSU and starting your freshman year, all the amazing things you did. Chich and I pulled in the bat that we want to kind of – Chich, you have that?
Yeah, I have.
Can you play this? And walk. I want you to just – we want to go back to this at bat and kind of the interaction you had with Skip Bertman, and maybe we're going to watch it and then we'll talk about it when we come out.
Right, and I'm sure you know this. I'll set the stage. Bottom ninth is going in the College World Series. You guys were down 5-3 to start the inning.
Yep.
Rallied. Got yourselves to 5-5. Batter before you, I believe it was Rios, hits a double. That ties the game. No, you were in a hole then. Next guy comes up. First pitch will be a wild pitch. And so then they put the 4 sign up, and I'm going to play it from right there. Here, you set the stage, and I'll get the video clip. Keep going.
So what happened was, we had beaten Long Beach State on opening night. They had a guy named Daniel Choi that threw changeups. He was really good. He was 16-0. And so I walk in Omaha. I'm nervous, and I can't stay back, Case. So I'm 0 for 8 to start my Omaha career because I just couldn't stay back. I eventually got it going. We win the College World Series 1993. And this is the year we're talking about, 1993. We play Long Beach, and we're the 2-0 team. They had to come back and beat us, right? They had to beat us twice. They do beat us the first game. So this second game is the one you're talking about. This is Friday night. They're up 5-3 because they hit a ball through our third baseman's legs. He's automatic. Well, he makes an error, goes right through his legs. They go up 5-3. We have 8-9-1 coming to the plate, Case. So it's Adrian Antonini, our catcher, who wasn't an offensive guy. He was an outstanding catcher with a cannon, but he didn't hit very well. But he's hitting. And so he's leading off this inning, and we're like, we've got our hats on backwards, and we got the rally stuff going. He hits a bullet up the middle, base hit. And I'm like, all right, now we got something, lead off. So they pinch hit our 9-hole hitter, Kenny Jackson, who was a first baseman for a guy named Mark Stocco. And I don't remember much of this, by the way, but I remember it like it just happened. And so Mark Stocco comes up, and he's the guy that can hit a homer. He's a JUCO transfer. Skip Bertman puts him in with a chance that he might hit a 2-run homer. He strikes out. So now we flip the lineup up to Jason Williams, our leadoff hitter, and on a 3-2 pitch, the ball goes above his knee on the front side and below his back knee. That's how close it was, and everybody freezes, and they call ball 4. So now we got first and second with 1 out, and you're right, since now Armando Rios comes up, the 2-hole hitter. It's a ball in left center. hits a ball in left center that ties the game. And man, I get chills thinking about it even now. We tie that game up, and again, remember, whoever wins this goes to the national championship the next day on Saturday. This is a Friday, and so now we got Armando at second base. They got a guy named Gabe the Blade on the mound. He's a left-hander with some sink, serious two-seamer sink, you know. And
it's amazing you remember all this.
yeah,
Unbelievable.
he hasn't thrown a pass ball like maybe one or two all year. He throws a pass ball. So now we got the guy at third with less than 2 outs. And that's the scenario we were talking about. You cannot strike out. You got to put the ball in play. Well, now Russ Johnson, our 3-hole, comes to the plate, and they walk Russ. So now it's first and third, 1 out, and I think the video will show Skip Berman comes to me, and he goes, they're going to walk you too and load the bases because it's a tie game. All that matters is the runner at third base. So they're going to walk you too, create forces around the bags, and they're going to pitch to Harry Barrios behind you. But remember, Harry's a right-handed hitter. I'm a lefty. And the guy on the mound was a left-hander, Gabe the Blade. And so they don't walk me. So I'm up there, and he throws the first pitch, and I think I waved through it or something. And I'm like, all right, he's coming after me. They put the middle infield back to try to turn a double play. The corners were in, and the end of the story is the video. I don't know if you ran it, but.
Yeah, no. We're running it right now. Skip Bertman's talking to you. Right
He's
now,
telling me they're going to walk me. He's telling me they're going to intentionally walk me to get to Harry Barrios behind me. So I
really,
said, right.
so when did you know they were going to pitch to you? You're coming up to the plate right now, Walk. They just
when the catcher got in the squat position and he's taking signs, and I'm looking back and he ain't holding his hand out trying to walk. Back then you had to throw the pitches, right? So he went after me at first pitch. I'm like, all right, he's coming now. Now I just have to stay back, and this is what we were talking about. This is the deal where you eliminate the pull side, lefty on lefty with all that movement, and I'm looking straight down the third baseline. I'm like, I'm going to stay back as long as I possibly can. And if I see a ball up in the middle, I'm just going to react. But my thought process is up the middle the other way. And when you have that thought process as a hitter, it doesn't mean you're not going to pull it. It just means that's what I'm thinking. And if I see the ball middle in, I'm going to react. And that's what happened is he throws me a middle in one. The first baseman was up. Remember, he was like up close on the grass. And you talk about a game of inches. I hit his glove. And if he catches it, he walks and steps on first, and we probably don't win the national championship. But it ricochets off his glove into right field. That scores Armando Rios. We win that game. We rotate into Saturday the next day. I don't think we slept the night before that night. I mean, we were so on edge the whole night. It was a noon game on CBS. Back then, the College World Series was set up where you played one game for the whole thing. Wichita State had not lost a game on the other side of the bracket. We had lost one to Long Beach. But it's only one game. It's Darren Dreifert and Jamie Bluma and all the big players from Wichita State. They started a guy named Travis Wyckoff, a left-hander, and we go up 8-0 in like 3 innings. And Brett Laxton strikes out 16. And this is another great thing. Brett Laxton threw all fastballs, Case. He didn't even throw anything else. He's just sitting up there shaking. Struck out 16 because that's before we knew about spin rate and velocity above the belt. And he was constantly throwing this belt. It gives you the illusion of a rise. It's not rising, but it's staying on plane. And when you've got kind of a launch angle swing, you're going to swing under it. And that's what Wichita State did that whole game. He struck out 16, all fastballs. So that's why I tell these young kids, dominate the first pitch, dominate your primary pitch, dominate the fastball, and I'm telling you, you can have success doing that. We saw that with Will Bednar the other day with Mississippi State, struck out 15 Texas Longhorns on mainly a fastball.
Yeah, and no, it's unbelievable to see. First off, some of these arms that are at Omaha, and Walk. You know, I'm watching the games and it's a full house out there. I know the stadium was different than when you played it, but and that at bat right there when you hit that 1-1 slider and you said you hit it off the first baseman's glove, sent you to you guys end up winning the whole thing. Can you tell us like what is that experience like for a college player? Playing in front of a crowd like that at Omaha.
Isn't that amazing? Like I'll make a cup of coffee and then I'll only walk in one other room and I can't remember where I put my coffee, but I can remember that whole scenario from 1993. Yeah, everybody's been there. You know you have. Your keys. Like where I walked in one room. Where are my keys? So I don't remember much, Case, but I'll remember baseball like it was yesterday, and I remember that whole experience, and it was just awesome. But to answer your question, in high school, as you know, we're playing in front of our parents and girlfriends, and that's it. And then all of a sudden, you go to college, and especially at LSU, you've got crowds that care, and they're not necessarily your relatives. I mean, they're just loving watching the games and being there. And so when I got to Alex Box, we were drawing 6,000 or 7,000 people, which was still not what they draw now, but it was a big deal. And kids actually wanted your autograph, and it was kind of a fun experience. You know, it's something I had never dealt with before. Nowadays, they're on TV all the time. But back then, the only way to get on TV was to get to Omaha. And so when we made it to the College World Series, I remember I made the last out in the regional case. They hit it to me at second base to go to Omaha. And I remember as the ball is coming, I'm thinking this is going to change my life forever to get a chance to play in Omaha at the College World Series. So I make the out. We win. Back then, they didn't have super regionals. It was just regionals. We win the regional. We go to Omaha in 1993. And you get here and the colors and the lights and you're on TV and everybody's watching. You're an instant superstar. Thousands of people watching in the stands. Dude, it's like an experience. It was worth every bit of work that I put into that point. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Wow, man. Wow. Hey, and let's fast forward a little bit. 2017, April 14th, you got your jersey retired at LSU, which obviously we know the history of LSU, everything, football, basketball, baseball. What did that mean to you, brother? And what was that night like?
Yeah, you know, Case, that's just special, man, because I go back and I said it at the time. The fact that I got to play at LSU was just incredible. In 1991, they won the national championship. That was my senior year of high school. And so I'd signed. And so there was a lot of pride going on, even though I had nothing to do with it. They were the national champions. So I walk in the fall of 91, and we're getting introduced in the basketball stadium. Back then they had Shaquille O'Neal on the team, and it's packed. And they're like, the national champion baseball, you know, and I'm raising my hand like I did something. And I didn't do anything, you know, but I'm fired up. You know, I'm pumping my fist, you know. And but I remember that experience and walking in and people saying, you'll never play there. You should have signed. Like I got drafted in the 51st round by the Texas Rangers. And they said, you should have signed pro and just, you'll never get that chance again. Then they're saying you're not going to play. They're a national championship team. When I walked on the campus in the fall practices, I was the third string second baseman. They had Keon Cook and a guy named Mike Neal playing second base. So I just take ground balls as like the third guy, right? But here's the thing, Case. That whole fall, the way I got on the map is they couldn't strike me out. Like it became a big deal that they can't strike out this freshman from Shreveport. And I just put the ball in play. And finally I ran into one against our all-American closer, Rick Green. You probably remember his name.
Oh yeah, I remember Rick Green. Yeah.
Yeah. So I ran into one on him, hit a homer. So they couldn't strike me out in the fall. And I remember walking in Skip Burtman's office at the end of the fall, and it was kind of a scene out of Major League with Willie Mays Hayes, where he made the team, right? So I'm like, he's like, verbatim, this is what he told me. He goes, if the season were to start tomorrow, you'd start at second base. And I couldn't control my emotion inside. I could inside. When I walked outside, I did the Willie Mays Hayes dance, you know, and I'm like all fired up. And I did. I played every single game at LSU. The opening night against UNLV, I had 3 hits, and I was off and running. But it was motivation, Case. It was motivation, and it was not. I say this all the time. They talk about launch angles and technique and swings and everything you can talk about with hitting. My sole focus was don't strike out. That was it, and everything else will take care of itself.
That's awesome.
So great, man.
Hey, Todd, can you see us? As Case always says, this is how the sausage is made when we do this live. Can you see us right now?
I can see you. I can't see myself.
Oh,
can you hit that video button in the corner?
Well, they're both blue, and I've done this before. Now,
yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. We don't want to lose your audio. We have your audio, which is fine. We'll just keep it that way.
I was wondering if you could see me or not, because I lost mine. It just went off, so I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
You don't need to see my face anyway, man.
I love it, dude. All right. Well, Walk. We're gonna. Do you want to do the 9 and 90, Chinch?
Absolutely.
Hey, Walk. We do this. We do this thing called 9 and 90. Chinch comes up with questions I don't know, and obviously you don't know, and then they're just kind of fun. Oh, you're back.
Yeah.
The video's back.
Perfect.
Yes. And we do. You know, he just rattles off a couple choices, and you and I pick. It's pretty fun. Done or dominated. All right, let's do it. Yes.
So
yes.
we're basically gonna go. We'll ping pong, but I'll go to Case first on all of these. You just pick it up right after, okay?
All right.
Got a minute 30 on the clock. And by the way, just so you know, this is not gonna be easy. Casey's scared every time. Ready? Starting right now. Casey, who would win in a fight? Herschel Walker or Walker Texas Ranger?
Herschel Walker. Guy's a killer.
Todd.
I got to answer that.
Yeah.
Walker, Texas Ranger. Man. Come on.
All right. Would you rather have a third nipple or an extra toe, Sean?
Extra toe. Extra toe because I can put my shoes on.
Todd.
I'm going. I'm going an extra toe also.
Okay. Wheel of Fortune, Sean, or Family Feud?
Family Feud. Family Feud. I was on there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, all day.
All right. Would you rather be a ninja or a pirate?
Ninja. Definitely a ninja.
Yeah, ninjas will beat up on pirates. I like that.
Very good. Harry Connick Jr. and Drew Brees both run for mayor of New Orleans. Who wins? Sean.
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees right now. Harry Connick 30 years ago.
Better duck, Donald or Daffy?
Donald.
After that question, you got to go Donald.
Okay. Would you ever bet better chance of surviving being lost at sea or lost in a desert?
I have a better chance lost in the desert. No, lost in the desert.
I'd say lost in the desert too, because you can't drown, man. At least you have fighting chance.
You are forced to binge watch one of these. Do you pick Keeping Up with the Kardashians or The Bachelorette?
Ooh.
Forced, I love it.
Bachelorette.
I got to go Bachelorette as well, yeah. If I'm forced.
Okay, last one. This is a tough one. Adam Dunn and Aaron Boone fall off your boat and you can only have one life left to save them. Who are you saving? Sean first.
God, are you serious? I got a double. I'm gonna throw them out there and have them just both grab it right in the hook themselves in the arm slots. Here you go, boys. Here's one vest. Hook yourselves in the arm slot. Save yourself.
Let them fight it out. Let them fight it out. I love that. I love that. Actually happened. And Aaron Boone is the man.
Oh,
Hold on, we lost your audio again, bud. You hear us?
dang it.
Can you see me?
Yes, we got you. We got it back. Go ahead, walk. Keep that story.
Where did we leave off? I said that actually happened. And, when you have to think about that, we were in the. I love me some Adam Dunn, but Aaron Boone's going to be the future Yankees. I work in baseball, so I'm going to need a job in the future. So I'm going to save Aaron.
Hey, bro, you don't want to bail hay with Dunner? You want to get mad?
He's making some millions. That's my boy, Adam Dunn, my boy. So that'd be a tough one. Let's put it that. That'd be a tough one.
So great. All right, Walk. This has been absolutely awesome, man.
I thought you bust out the poison picture, man. You don't have that.
Oh yeah, no, we have that out too. Wait, we have the poison. We have the poison picture here. Hey, Walk. I want to bring that. No, I got two other things that I got to do. First off, the poison picture, which is absolutely epic. It's on my still my Twitter. It was my Twitter account. Look at that, dude. What do you remember? What do you remember from that night? You, me, Gravy, Booney, and Dunner.
Well, we had a day game in Cincinnati, right? And then we board the plane and we fly to Chicago. Did you lose my audio again? I mean my video again?
We have your. Go ahead. We have your audio.
All right. We flew to Chicago, and remember it was an outdoor amphitheater. We thought there was a third band, Case. It was Cinderella, Poison, and I thought there was somebody else.
Winger.
Winger was the third one.
Winger. She's only 17. 17. Daddy says she's too young, but old enough for me. Yeah.
And so we all jump in a car when we landed in Chicago and threw on the shirts, and ripped the sleeves off, and we're off and running to the amphitheater. That was a good night, man.
That was an unbelievable night. Absolutely unbelievable night. Gosh. And Walk, can you still hear me?
Yeah, you can.
And what about, okay, so last week, bro, we were joking around, and this is one of the reasons I was thinking about it, which is crazy, but Chinch and I were talking about cats and cat stories.
Oh.
And I was like, I got an unbelievable.
I know where you're going. I'll let you tell your side story, and I'll tell mine.
Well, I told my side last week in an unbelievable, in an epic story. I want to hear your side because we need to hear Todd Walker's side. I had a totally different side, but please, can you tell us your side of the story?
So I told you when I got traded over to Cincinnati, I was living with Aaron Boone for 2 weeks. They give you like some time in the hotel, but Aaron said, just come stay with me until you can find a place. So during that time, I'm starting to get to know the boys. I don't think you and I knew each other at the time. We knew of each other, but
yeah.
But I got to know Sean, and I got to know some of the guys on the team through those 2 weeks. Well, Sean had just signed a deal, right? 4 years, whatever, 30 million, whatever it was. And so Sean had bought a house, and so he's moving out of his place that he's living in Montgomery. And I'm thinking, I don't need to see this. It's Sean Casey, man. He's got millions. This place is gonna be legit. So I don't need to see it. I said, let me just, I'll take it. We'll take over the rent and we'll move in, and Sean's moving out, right? So we go over there, and it's just dark, it's as dark as you can possibly imagine in the middle of the day. Like the wood has got termites in it. I mean, it's falling apart. And we're like, what in the world is this? Well, the good news is it was only going to be a couple months. But my wife, I remember her looking at me going, no, this ain't going to work. So it was what it was. But Sean is coming down the stairs with two cat, he's got two of them, cat litter boxes. And he has the cat in them, right? So 2 cats. And he's walking down the stairs, and the bottom falls out of both of them. So cat poop everywhere, all over the stairs that already were stained up from something else that no telling what it was. So I've got this visual of Sean coming down and everything just falling out the bottom, and he's just dying laughing like he is right now. And that just put me and my wife Katie were like, this is not going to be good. So he left cat poop all over for us to clean up, and then he just walked out the door. Have fun, guys. We'll see you later.
What'd your wife say? What did your wife say?
Well, the whole time we were like, this can't be real. This can't be happening, right? I mean, this is like the mayor of Cincinnati living in this place, and not only that, he leaves us a parting gift.
Dude, Mark, did you end up renting it or no? Did you stay there?
Yeah, we stayed for a little bit. I can't remember. We eventually, I think, I got traded over at the trade deadline, so that's August, September, so 2 months. But like I said, I ate up most of August living with Aaron, so it was like I only had about a month, so I can handle this for a month. But we certainly found a better place the next year. But man, you talk about a dark, dreary, smelling like cat poop place. My goodness.
Dude, I got a headache. Oh my God.
What are you doing with cats anyway, man? What's going on?
I don't know, bro. That cat just died like last year too. I had the cat till like 2020. It finally, Callie, it's older than the freaking kids. It finally kicked the bucket. It wouldn't die. I'm like, are you ever gonna die? You pooped on Todd Walker freaking 17 years ago, and you're still alive. Like, what the hell's going on here? Like, it's time for you to die, cat.
The only other I got a ton of great Sean Casey stories, but the only other one, Mike Mandy was out of town, and we're going on a 10-day road trip. So Sean shows up at the airport and on the plane with a backpack. And somehow we got in the backpack and we saw a shirt. And so we're like, Case, what are you doing with this small backpack? He goes, this is my packing for 10 days. He had all of his stuff in a backpack because Mandy usually packs for him, and she went around. So he brings a backpack full of stuff he just thrown in there for 10 days. We're like, you got to be kidding me. And the other cool thing about Sean is, like, when we got to when you land in a city in the big leagues, you get on the bus, they take care of your luggage, you get to the hotel, you go straight to your room. If we have dinner plans, we got to wait on the luggage to get there behind us, which is like 20 minutes. You call down, then they bring your luggage up to your room, and then you tip them, 20, 25 bucks, whatever. So what we found out was that Sean, this millionaire, would have his bags brought up, and he'd give them $1. He'd give them $1. Thanks for coming. He's got like all these bags. He'd give them $1. I'm like, Sean, come on. You're gonna be nicknamed No Tippin' Pippin, like Scotty Pippen. That's what he's known. So Sean should have come up with a nickname for Sean, giving these guys $1 when he's making $10 million a year.
Oh my God!
But the funny thing is, he wasn't trying to rip them. That's what he thought. That's what he thought it was.
Dude, I told this story to Dunner a couple weeks ago. you have to know the beginning of the story. When I got to the big leagues, Jeff Manto told me, don't ever touch your bags in the show. And I said, okay, Mick. And then what do I tip him? He's like, $2 a bag. So I get to the show. The first guy that tells me is Jeff Manto. He says, hey, listen, don't ever touch your bags in the show. Tip the guys $2. So I told her, here I am a few years later making $8.5 million. I'm like, thanks for bringing my bags up. And I got $2. The guy's like, oh, it's unbelievable. They must have been so pissed off when they saw it was my room that Sean Casey wants to bring their bags. I'm like, hey, Johnny, we're going to get 2 bags. Casey's calling, you know?
Sean didn't believe in inflation back then. Like, it's $2. $2 the rest of his life.
God. From that day on, walking these guys got on me so bad, Chinch. From that day on, I was tipping 100, 200. I was the guy you want. I was like, I got to make up for 6 years of $2 a bag. Here's freaking 100, 200, 300.
Oh,
unbelievable.
Oh, man. And you're right. Like they would remember you. So if you called down for your bags and you were a bad tipper, you might not ever get them. Or if you did, you know, it'd be like 2 hours later. You know, they just didn't do it. That's so funny.
Oh my God, dude, it's so good, man.
Now why you had the backpack, so you didn't have to tip anybody. You just got off the plane, straight to your room, just threw it on the floor, and I picked it apart each day when you went to the ballpark.
Well, my thought process was there. It was like, if I bring 2 pairs of underwear, 2 shirts, and a pair of jeans that bring those with me, then I just bring them to the clubhouse every day and wash them and just keep recycling. And just keep recycling.
And give them $1 for doing it.
Oh my God, Walk. This has been so awesome, bro. It's just great catching up, man. It's so good seeing you. You sent that picture of you and Gravy the other night to my phone. It's so good to see Gravy. Please tell him I said hi. I know you're enjoying Omaha, bro, but thank you, bro, for coming on. And we'll do this again, man. We got more Todd Walker, Sean Casey stories coming at you.
I love it. Thanks, man.
All right, Walk. All right, bro. Love you, man. See you soon, brother.
All right, see you.
Okay.
Oh man, dude, listening to
that
you
was awesome.
For everybody at home, the cool thing when the couple times we've done this so far is that the guys pop up for like 10 minutes before we start the show, and just to see you guys just making eye contact and seeing each other, like both of you lit up. Same thing happened when Dunn came on the other day, and I get to just sit in the corner for 5 minutes and listen to you guys just talk and catch up. And I mean, it's like it's a fraternity, but it's also like a family that you're gonna have for the rest of your life. Nobody's ever gone through what you guys have gone through, especially together. So it's just pretty awesome, especially your team.
Chinch, I think that's the big thing. And he talked about those Reds teams, man. I'm sorry, bro. I played a lot of years in the big leagues. I played on some great teams with some great guys. Like those Reds teams, I don't know what it was. We just had so many good guys in those clubhouses, and it was so frustrating because we were really good with no pitching. And it was like, it is what it is. I really think if we had pitching, we would have won numerous championships. But, you know, like I said, man, seeing Todd Walker, a guy that I love, and, you know, is a really good friend of mine. We don't get to see each other as much. Obviously, he's in Louisiana. I'm up here in Pittsburgh, and he's doing his thing. I'm doing mine. But when you get a chance to reconnect like that, it's just it's something special, man. It really, really is. And it was great to see him. And it's great to look at his career, too, and look back at how awesome he was, not only in his college career, but he was also a heck of a big league ball player, too, man. Was a tough out, was a guy that was, and had, like he talked about, had some pop. But, you know, he was all about just going gap to gap and getting you. And it was just really cool, man. I'm glad you were able to be there, Chance, kind of, you know, to be that fly on the wall and listen to some of that stuff. And I can't believe you brought up the tipper story again.
You're a legendary tipper. Oh, my goodness.
God.
All right, I just have one last thing to do. It's not a big one before we go, because we were talking and talking about, you know, viral videos. We got our followers here. We appreciate coming on all the time, but you know, we got like 10 followers. We need more people following us. We were talking about TikTok trends. We have this week have homework assignment, right?
Yeah, what is it?
You and your daughter are going to get together. You're going to find a viral video. You're going to find some sort of, she'll know better than us what to do.
Okay.
And you're going to have to do one of these challenges, and then we'll play it next week and see if it works.
Okay. Okay. Like one of the dances or something?
I mean, I don't know. Anybody who's watching right now, click on, see, give us some ideas. Or email us, the mayor's office 21, which Sean still doesn't know. He has an email address.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, just saying right now, there's a Sebastian Maniscalco dance that's out there.
Really? I love Maniscalco.
And then maybe there's always like how much can you eat kind of things. But you're in shape right now. We don't want to mess.
Yeah. I don't want to mess with my microbiome right now.
You get with your daughter and
Okay.
find out the thing, and then maybe a few days before our next show, you can tweet out, "Hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'll let you know how it is on the next show." All right.
Okay, perfect, dude. That sounds awesome. I'll talk to my daughters, Carly and Jillian, and see if they can find something for me because they're way better at this than me. So
Yeah, than all of us probably. All right, but hey, man, another good one. Sean Casey, master.
Great.
You're like the inside the actor studio guy now. You're getting so deep.
Oh, so good, man. Having Todd Walker's on is awesome. We're going to get more of my buddies on here, which is great to talk baseball and talk life and stuff. And I just want to say to all the people that are starting to tune in and follow us, really, really appreciate it. Hope you're having fun the way we are. I know Chinch and I are really enjoying this. We talk all week long about getting on. And for all the people out there on No Filter, that are joining us live, that's awesome. We hope to continue to have more and more people here on nofilter.net. And, I just want to say we're really grateful. Thank you for joining us and keep coming on with us every week. And we will see you guys next week. Chinchy, 8 in the book, brother. 8 in the book. All right. Love you, buddy. All right, man. I'll see you next week. Okay, bye.